This is The Extra Point, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast, sponsored by your Phoenix Suns.
All right, so, I mean, Arizona is a quarterback state. I think that's fair to say. So let's talk to a man who is most responsible for this, is anybody that we can find in our great state. Dan Manucci back on The Extra Point. Dan, we're coming up here on the NFL draft. I know you've been a busy man, and we all have our eye on one of your students who could be rocking up draft boards. First of all, how are you? And second of all, where is Tyler Shough going to be drafted?
Oh, you know what? It's always great to talk about any of the quarterbacks when I think about them. I think about when we were talking about Bryce Perkins coming out in the draft several years ago. Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, coming out. We got Chuba Purdy at Nevada. Hopefully comes out next year and gets into the draft. And how about Parker Navarro at Ohio University? My radio partner, Mike Morocco's alumnus, if you will, from that university. And we got another one. We got Riley Garcia, another young man that's at Washington State just transferred in. And then we got Navi Bruzon, two-time Gatorade Player of the Year in Arizona, in the portal. But Tyler Shough, I'm hoping he's deserving, I feel, to be a first-round choice. When you look at comparing him with Cam Ward, I think it's Tyler Shough, Shedeur Sanders, and then there's the dark young man out of Mississippi. So I look at those four, and I think Tyler very deserving to be a first-round pick to wherever he goes to. And I will say this about Tyler Shough. Like all of the ones I just mentioned to you, Mark, hardworking, persevering, has that want to in his gut, wants to get better, wants to be the best he can, wants to touch all the bases in order to become the best, not only quarterback, but individual, human being, and on top of everything, best quarterback he can possibly be. That's kind of the common denominator, a mantra for all those individuals that I mentioned. But as far as Tyler Shough is concerned, he's right there at the top. He's very deserving, humble, hardworking, and he knows what it takes to get it done. And when you're in college for 6 years, you play a lot of football, a lot of reps. He is football ready. He is, I feel, the most NFL-ready quarterback coming out of the draft this year.
And you would know because you work with quarterbacks every day. You played quarterback in the National Football League. What makes him so NFL-ready day one?
I think the reps. I think his maturity. He's really smart. He understands the game. He studies. I think physically, look at Tyler now at 6'5", about 220, 225 pounds. We ran a 4.65 40 in the combine just a couple short weeks ago. The thing about Tyler is his overall maturity. I look at him and several of these guys. It's so interesting. Those 5 or 6 quarterbacks I mentioned, they're all kind of old souls. They get it early on. They understand what they want. But with Tyler specifically, he's dialed in from day one. I've been working with him since 8th grade. His dad, Glenn Shough, brought him out with his younger brother. And we worked, and he just always had that acumen, that demeanor of wanting to be the best. So when I see Tyler now, the way he ran the offense at Oregon, at Texas Tech, and especially this year at Louisville, staying healthy the entire year, running that offense to an all-new level with Jeff Brom's offense. And Jeff Brom's offense at Louisville, it's a very NFL-type offense, if you will, Mark. The reads, the adjustments, the movements. So he can throw on the run. He can throw off platform. He can stand in the pocket. He can take a hit. He can deliver the ball while taking a hit. And that's why I feel he's, if not the top quarterback, one of the top quarterbacks to come out the draft to answer your question. That's why I feel he's so ready, or the most ready for the NFL this year.
So when NFL teams are doing their homework, we kind of talked off camera here about the number of visits that he's had. Do any of them hit up you to help tell his story as they're trying to figure out, okay, this guy needs to be a first round pick? Do they go to Coach Manucci to get some info?
I wish they would. I have not heard from anybody, but what I do hear from are other people. Like I'll have other reporters call from cities. I mean, because Tyler's been on tour, if you will, with Cleveland, I'm sure Pittsburgh. And we had him on our show, Rockin' Manucci, Jimmy B, heard every day on ESPN 620 from 1 to 4. Just a little minor plug there, Mark.
Any plugs? Yes. Yeah. Plug away.
He was on a couple weeks ago and he was getting ready to go on tour. And I want to say he might have been going to 10 to 15 teams but I haven't had anybody call me. I've had a lot of people, as far as reporters from those cities, call and say, hey, look, talk to us about this Tyler Shough kid. Boy, he throws the ball well. And he really proved a lot playing an entire year at Louisville and really balling out. He stayed healthy. He's healed up from his collarbone injury, from his fibula injury. He looks good. He runs the ball well. He can make every throw. Deep, short, sidearm, behind the back, between the legs. I mean, you name it.
Did you teach that one? Was that part of your deal?
Well, once in a great while, we might do it. When I would show off to them when they were young, maybe. But, it just – everybody asks that question about talk to us about why is he ready? And that's the intrigue when I get reporters calling me or other coaches. It says because he can do A through Z. And Tyler's never skipped a beat, if you will, Mark. He goes A to B, B to C. He's never taken that shortcut. In the last couple of years, he stayed when he was at Texas Tech. He stayed and worked out with a quarterback coach, a group in Dallas. Louisville, same thing. And as he got ready for the combine, I went back to the group in Dallas. I didn't really get a chance to get my hands on him. I do when they come back periodically and the guys have time and they visit. But he is so focused, so determined, but he's mature. He's smart. He understands the game. He gets it. And I think on top of that, there's not a throw or I think a situation that he hasn't seen in college that prepares him for the National Football League.
So do you think he moves into the first round? I mean, there's such a premium on quarterbacks. So is this sort of a guy that no one around the NFL wants to say his name out loud because they want him to fall to him? Or do you think there's some steam building here where we're going to be like, whoa, he moves up and we have another Arizonan make a big splash in the NFL come draft day?
I got to believe Tyler's picked up a lot of momentum. I mean, he went to the Senior Bowl practices and did a great job all week. He had a very good Senior Bowl. He goes to the combine and he balls out there with all the drills, all the running drills, all the throwing drills. His interviews were great. Everybody's very impressed with his maturity, the way he talks, the way he communicates. He's an outstanding young man. I mean, I think he's got, 2 degrees now, 1 master's. I think what they like about is not only his football prowess on the field, Mark. I think I keep bringing up the word, his maturity and understanding. But it's kind of like with John Lynch. When they drafted Brock Purdy, the 49ers, reps matter. You know that, being an ex-football player out of Texas, that low-level form of football they have there in Texas.
Blocking receivers? Yeah. But we ran the inverted wishbone and threw the ball like 5 times a game. But
they gave you a bone. They throw you one past, a year?
I got to show you the tape, by the way, and have you assess it. That's going to be our next podcast. And you can just rip everything about it. It'd be super fun.
But as long as you got tape, your kids can see when they grow up that, hey, Dad was actually an athlete. I really believe that, yes, I think he's a first rounder. I really believe. I just think that going to Louisville was great for him to play the entire year. Look at the shootout he had with Cam Ward at Miami. That game went back and forth, back and forth. Look at the great game he had against Notre Dame. Look at all the great games he had consistently all year. And Mark, the one thing I tell all my quarterbacks, whether you're a third grader or you're in pro ball, whether you're in the Mexico Pro League or you're with the Michigan Panthers where Bryce Perkins and Rocky Lombardi are, is they want you to be consistently consistent. You can use that as well too. But they talk about being consistently consistent. He was consistent that drive. No, we want a guy that's not only physically consistent, but we need a guy that we can trust, that's mentally consistent. And I think when they interview and watch Tyler Shough, they see how mentally consistent he is, physically consistent. Guy doesn't make a lot of mistakes, doesn't turn the ball over, takes care of the football. So when you talk about what makes a first rounder, Cam Ward, Tyler Shough, Shedeur Sanders, the Dart kid, I look at those 4 and I go, they're all first round worthy. And don't be surprised. I think he's deserved to be a first rounder, kind of like a couple last year. A lot of goes go, hey, Manucci, who do you like as the most pro-ready quarterback coming out? I said, Bo Nix. Bo Nix played, 60-some games. Look at the guys who play a lot of football, the mature. Came out, at 24. And look what he did with the Denver Broncos. I remember when Deshaun Watson came out, and I went, that kid came out at Clemson. I said, he's the most pro-ready. He's the top quarterback. Can't remember all of them. But he just did a phenomenal job of understanding the game, delivering the ball, and not being a deer in the headlights. You know what I mean? And then you got the Trey Lances of the world that played, 13, 14 games total. Very talented, strong arm, but just didn't have the reps, didn't have the vision of seeing and reacting. So what they like about Tyler is he can read, react. He doesn't read, think, react. He reads, reacts, gets the ball out. And that is so vitally important. Because, Mark, you get to that level, you better have your mechanics in line, your footwork in line, and they can all throw. We can all throw. But who can process that read versus this offensive play? Who can check out of it? Who can find the mismatch? How do I audible? Do I not audible? If not, what are my checks? I mean, there's probably, I think I counted this one time. I just kind of do this stuff. I'm kind of a nerd about quarterbacks and coaching. There's probably 30 to 35 things a quarterback will think of from the time he gets to play from the sideline. Oh, I'm sorry, back in the day, to the time he gets to play in their ear, to calling the play, pre-snap look, alignments, motion, adjustments, snap, read, adjustments, complete the pass, 3 or 4 reads, on and on. And by the time the play stops, you're probably about 25 to 30 thought processes. That's what Tyler can do. And when I talk about all these guys, they can all do that, or they can do that because we work on that. So I think Tyler, NFL-wise, Mark, how do I explain this? It's like going from second year in college to like 7th gear to the National Football League, not only speed-wise, but mentally-wise as well, too.
Can you take me through some of the 20 to 25 things to 30 things you think about? Like what's that checklist look like for you? So who was calling a play in Buffalo? I'm trying to think like Manucci, we're gonna run spider 2Y banana.
Well, I'll give you one. Kay Stevenson will be up in the press box. He's the offensive coordinator. He and Ray Prohaska, but Kay called the plays, and he called down to Chick Harris. And Chick would flag it into me. We'll go split right, 63 X post corner. Now, here's the key. We typically just run split right 63. But when we set a team up, that X receiver is running a post on split right 63. Okay, you got it? Okay. I know in Texas it's split right go. So we know we got that. But all of a sudden we go split right 63 X post corner. We're going to run a post corner because we've been setting him up that safety up all day. So number one, look at the signals, get the signals, call the play, break the huddle, get everybody lined up properly, call the protection. If it was a 4-3 front, I'd just say 4-3 set. If it's a 34 front, I'd say 34 left or 34 right to call slide to the protection. Pre-snap look, take a look at it, get guys lined up. Do I have motion? The count is on 2. Oh, I got an audible. Okay. So if I audible to, let's say I'm an audible to 98. And I typically go 255, 255. The signal was the count was on 2, right? So if I say, if I'm going to change out, I'm going to give the count 265. I just changed 63 to 65. Now, if I'm not changed, I'll go 142 or a 385, something like that. So I got that. First drop, I see the defense make a move. I'll know exactly where I'm going because I've got to make the reads. If they come down, they blitz, I got to side adjust. If the corner's up, he's going to run a fade. If he's off, he runs a quick slant. If they fly out of there, I've got those 5 receivers to think about. If they make a movement but nobody blitzes, safety goes over the top, safety comes down, the corners fly out. There's 5 adjustments on that in reference to what we're doing there. And then, do I step up in the pocket? Do I got to move? Where do I put the ball when I make the throw? Is it down low? Is it up over the top? Is it outside? Where do I put the ball? And last but not least, after the completion, which I mix in a few once in a while, the down and distance prior to that. So I know it's kind of a diatribe, but that's the thought.
It's fantastic. I can listen to this all day.
Every play, and that's why you're more mentally exhausted than physically exhausted after a game.
That's fantastic. All right, so tell me the process of building this for Tyler. He shows up. Tell me his story, where it starts. He shows up. He walks into practice with Coach Manucci the first day. What did you notice about him, and how did you help build, lay the groundwork for what he's become?
You know what? It's interesting. You can name all these guys we've been talking about, but Tyler came out with his brother Glenn. His dad brought him and Brady out. Both were looking to be quarterbacks, and his younger brother ended up being a receiver. So he brings them both out. We had Tyler at our camp, Chandler High School, that Sean Iguano started many years ago, quarterback camp. And then Rick Garrettson took that over. So Rick and I and Brock Farrell, until he left, and would run that quarterback camp. And then Sean left to go to SU. And so a lot of these guys showed up at the quarterback camp. So here's this tall, gangly kid at our quarterback camp with a great arm. So he shows up, Tumbleweed Park in Chandler with his brother. They come out. We got a couple receivers. I start putting them through the paces. Let's warm up properly. Let's do our footwork. Let's do our movements. Let's make sure you're getting through the ball. Let's make sure you're doing everything properly over and over and over and over again. He was totally dialed in. He was like this baseball player, quarterback, tall, talented at a very young age, that threw the ball very, very well. And, bringing his brother out initially, he's also a guy that, he's going to help the other quarterbacks who might be struggling. I really like that about him too. But he was always dialed in, focused. And I've said this, it's kind of like the old, thank you, sir, might have another. What's next? What else do we do? And one thing about Tyler is he never got bored with the process. If we worked out once a week or twice a week, I would mix up a lot of the stuff. I'd throw a lot of different things at him. And he was a young man that I could challenge. I could do big boy throws or big boy drills with him at a very young age, Mark. And if I see young men are talented or have that acumen of being not so much strong-willed, but strong focused, I think there's a difference there. I would challenge him with a lot of different drills, and he handled everything. He handled everything focused, never complained, always worked, showed up on time, did what he's supposed to do, and would bring his receivers out. Some of those Hamilton receivers he had. So when I think about the initial, there's a story with every one of these guys when they first come out. With Tyler Shough, it was let's go at a very early age. And it's kind of funny. I was the same way growing up from 6th grade on. All I want to do is wake up, throw a football or throw a baseball. That was my life's goal. And for Tyler, he was steady through his workouts, through his playing, through his leadership. And that's the thing too. He was kind of one of those quiet leaders out there. He'd get on the receivers. Hey, let's go, guys. Let's get it together. All right, let's make the catch. So at a very early age, I could see that he had the not only the tangibles, but the intangibles to develop and grow into a very good high school quarterback, good college quarterback, and hopefully a very good NFL quarterback, if not a great NFL quarterback.
All right, so who are some more of the up-and-coming kids that you're training now that you think could be the next Tyler Shough, Brock Purdy, Spencer Rattler? Who else? We've got so many guys, I've almost lost count.
Well, I'll say that I think Cale Snyder, number one at Perry High School, is going to be a junior. Cale, I've been training since 6th grade. He's got, like 6, 7, 8 offers now, about 6'4", 210 already throws. I've had him since I think 5th grade. Eric Widmark, who ran the Grand Canyon State Games for many years, that's his grandson. So Adam Snyder, his dad, former lineman with the Niners and the Cardinals, brought him out and started working with him. And I moved him right around 6th grade. I moved him into the big boy workouts because he could handle it. I could see that I'm going to move him into that and just raise him up that way. Will Menzel, Chandler High School, he's going to be a a junior quarterback. He's got offers from many schools, even the Kansas State Wildcats. He's got an offer from the Cats. So you look at Will, you look at him. I think I've got, I can look at a couple other quarterbacks that I've got coming through the ranks that are ready to go. Lucas Elliott, he's going to be at Sunrise Mountain. Here's a young man that throws the ball very, very well. He's going to be a new kid that's on the scene, on the horizon. And there's several other quarterbacks that are coming out that are going to be trying or vying to be in competitive situations at their high schools. And so when I look at the landscape, it's being on the scene as far as quarterbacks are concerned. It's great competition. Guys understand that if you're going to get a chance, Mark, to get a D1 offer, whether it's FBS or FCS offer, you got to really get after it, have the talent, got to have your grades, can't be a knucklehead on social media. But there's so much competition that it's okay if you go down to NAIA, Division II, Division III. There's plenty of football. There's education, plenty of football. There's money there that you maybe for, I would say, a couple of years, take a step back from that, and then you can move into it from there. I think that right now, Jackson Knutson, he lit it up at McClintock High School, the McClintock Chargers, by the way. He's a D1 kid, but there really wasn't any room, but he got a full ride to UC Pueblo, and they like him. Kid's 6'4", 220, can throw it. So training these young men that are moving on, are going to have the year, is just play your butt off, do your best, get your grades, and there's opportunities for a lot of these young men moving forward.
And how do you advise them, especially with Tyler having to kind of bounce around? That's like the new norm, right? To have to go to a couple different places, most likely.
I just say if the situation presents itself, that this is what you need to do, then just stay focused in the moment. So, Oregon, he was kind of unfortunately forced to have to move on. He didn't want to move on. I think sometimes coaches get in the way, make promises to other players. When you got a guy that was one of the top quarterbacks in the Pac-12, won a Rose Bowl for you. Following year, he takes you to the Fiesta Bowl. And he and Brock Purdy are playing against each other in that 2020 Fiesta Bowl, the COVID Bowl, to play against each other. And then he felt, well, if you're not giving me a chance to compete, because Tyler will compete. He's not going to leave anything. But he was kind of forced that if he doesn't get a chance to win the job, what are you going to do? You're kind of forced. He goes to Texas Tech, wins that job, does a great job there. And I really felt he felt to go to Louisville his senior year to go to that offense that Jeff Brom has, is the most NFL-ready offense, to go there for one more year to show everybody what he can do. And my advice is, wherever you're at, guys, stay focused, don't look back, and be the best you can be. And Tyler's done really, I think, great strategic moves of where he's gone in order to be where he's at now. And I think guys can appreciate that. Jeff Brom's offense at Louisville is one of the top pro-ready offenses. I think Chip Kelly's offense when he was at Ohio State the same way. So I think the advice is, just get your grades, finish your education, and be the best you can be, and always be aware of how you can improve everywhere you're at.
And finally, what was the training regimen like for a young Manucci coming up? There weren't these quarterback coaches. Maybe there were the quarterback coaches in the neighborhood. Did you have like some old tires in the yard? What did that look like?
Well, my dad was the quarterback coach for me. I was very fortunate that Dan Manucci Sr. Would always come home. So we always go in the backyard, throw the football, or go down the park, or throw the baseball. So he was a former quarterback in high school and played baseball and football. So he taught me as far as my motion, baseball and throwing wise. And then when I got to McClintock, Carl Kiefer really helped me as far as footwork, delivery, staying over the top, know where to throw the ball, how to throw the ball. And also the guy that really helped me a lot, the late, great Alan Benedict, who was at Mason Community College. And he was there my freshman, sophomore year. We won the JUCO title in 75 and then third nation 76. I'm aging myself. I stopped having him at 45, just so you know, though, Mark, okay? 45,
Me too.
45 and holding, okay? Don't share that with anybody. So
that's your move, yeah.
Alan really taught me how to really read defenses, let's pass the ball instead of throw it. You know what I mean? You have to gun it. let's put more top on that deep throw, or let's make sure we do a 5 plant or versus a 5 hitch. He taught me about timing with your footwork, your read, eyes. And then I got to K-State. My junior year, I struggled. Quarterback coach J.W. Emerson, great guy. And at K-State, we're 1-10. But the blessing, the godsend was that staff got fired. And no offense for those guys. But when Jim Dickey came in, and a quarterback coach by the name of Jim Donnan, who's a college football Hall of Fame coach from Georgia, was my quarterback coach, offensive coordinator. Man, he taught me so much about defenses and reads and, again, the footwork, layering the ball, passing the ball. And he had a pro-style offense, which helped me when I got to Buffalo, deeper routes, deeper throws. But just the mental side, I'd go in there and study film and look. And he'd allow me to grow as a quarterback, not go through as a quarterback, grow through checking off audibles. I used to check off probably 60% of the time when I was at K-State my senior year. And that helped me to grow as a quarterback as far as developing, throwing, learning. And what a blessing in disguise that was. I mean, when you're 1-10 and you're used to winning national championships and that staff gets fired and your new staff comes in, I'm like, well, do I stay? Do I go home? In those days, you had to sit out a year. It wasn't a transfer rule. I used to wonder if K-State was built on Indian burial grounds there for a while. Things were so bad. But those, for me, it was a process from 6th grade, St. Daniel's, parochial school flag leagues to Mount Carmel. And I never played tackle football until my freshman year, Mark. I was always too small, too light. Now, I could throw the ball 40, 50 yards as a 8th grader, 9th grader, but I was just too light. In those days, it was Boys and Girls Club or Pop Warner. But if you didn't meet their criteria, sorry. But what flag taught me was so many of the intangibles about balance, throwing. And so for me, it was really a village that really helped me to become a quarterback that I became.
Awesome. Well, love the story. Love the Tyler Shough story. Love to see the next chapter of that. And what do you got? What do you got coming up on the radio show this week? Where can we find you?
We got great. We're obviously it's all about the Suns. with the firing of Mike Budenholzer, the draft. You're right around the corner. And how about these Diamondbacks averaging 5.5, 6 runs per game? Now we just get that pitching settled. And don't forget, you got the NBA playoffs, the play-in games going on. By the way, how the hell did the Suns not make the play-in game, for crying out loud? I mean, I know that's a whole nother show, Mark, but if you tune in to Rock and Manucci, Jimmy B, every day, 1 to 4, ESPN Radio 620, you'll get the full scope, you'll get the full genre, and every once in a while we'll mix in a decent thought. So that's all I can promise you for now.
Give me a quick taste. Why did the Suns not make the play-in, and who should be their next coach?
I think, number one, too many cooks in the kitchen. I think that the roles weren't designated. And when you have a coach that's not communicative or there's a rub in that locker room and you tell your leader to pipe it down, i.e. that he told, when he told Devin Booker, and there's just, I don't think there was enough of the right. You have a lot of players, but they didn't have the right players. And I think the kind of head coach that needs to come in now is maybe a young and up-and-coming guy that's got respect, that's been there and done that as a player, has seen it and done it, so he can somewhat relate to what they're saying. But he's got to be his own guy. He can't let the tail wag the dog. He's got to come and go, I'm the guy. I will listen to you guys. We want to do this, this, and this. But whether James Jones is here or not as a general manager, or Matt Ishbia, he's got to tell this team, look, this is our guy. This is where we're going. We're going to build. He's just got to be that guy that's got to be very understanding. And pros at this level, Mark, they got to see you got a game plan as a coach. You got a vision that you understand, because if you're bringing a guy that's wet behind the ears and they see things going on that should be going on, if you can accept some of the critique or say, how about this coach or that coach, I think you got to have that kind of a guy that can come in for this Phoenix Suns team.
I nominate Coach Manucci to coach the Suns.
Hey, if they come in my kitchen, they better be able to cook. That's all I can tell you right now. And as I tell my guys, ain't no slacking and Cadillacing. We work. And yeah, one more thing. It ain't recess. It's the lab. That's it.
Love it. Oh, thanks so much for all the time. Really appreciate it. That was awesome.
Always my pleasure, Mark. Keep up the great work. We appreciate it.
This is The Extra Point, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast, sponsored by your Phoenix Suns.